What's going on, you guys? It's your boy Patrick, aka Addicted to Combat, back after a nice week off to talk UFC Vegas 80. We return to the Apex. I am joined by my very lovely guest. You know what? Like your fifth time on the show at this point, at least.
I'm Norm to your Dave Letterman.
Yes, exactly, man. Yeah, this is the Tonight Show. You're definitely my Norm Macdonald. Good to see you, LouBetya. How you been? You been good?
I'm good.
You did some shoey bets earlier on the NFL show?
Yeah, I'm an idiot.
Did you just do it for fun, or you owed somebody a bet?
No, Jesus Christ. No, I did it because I owed a bet. Wiz and I bet Minnesota and Carolina, and it didn't work out for me. But we have a shoey bet that should have been paid off last week that involves Gordo. And what makes the bet fun is that it doesn't involve Gordo, but it involves Gordo. If Wiz and I have a bet where we think that I like one team to cover 3.5, I know you're not a football guy, but basically the whole bet
pretend
involves.
To follow along.
Let's put it this way: the whole bet involves the game ending exactly on one team winning by 3, and if that's the exact scenario, then Gordo has to do the shoey. And I'm 2 for 2 at predicting the exact game that it should be, and he's like, "I'm not fucking doing that," and I'm like, well, you suck. Like he's American now. Now Gordo's an American. Right.
But he's a liar and a cheater now. He's no longer a polite Canadian.
But you mentioned shoeys, and because I haven't been on the air, this is my first guest spot in almost 3 months. When we get to the main card, I will do a shoey with one of these no messing around 8.7% beers because any of these fuckers that do shoeys with seltzers just don't or Fireball.
You're almost hydrating yourself at that point.
Well, dude, it's like going to jail. It's not supposed to be pleasant.
Right.
Just fucking do it. Just do the time and get out. It's a shoey. If there's things floating around in it, it's supposed to be gross. The only one that gets a pass is Paul Shaughnessy because he has a gluten issue. He does rum and coke shoeys, which is badass, dude.
That is. But yeah, man, it's good to have you back in the show, Mr. LouBetya, representing the MMA engine. We've got a pretty good main event, and honestly, as far as the Apex fight cards go, this is a pretty good one. There's a lot of recognizable talent on here, a lot of guys that are like, in prove me spots, whether they're trying to prove that they're still at the UFC level and not, over the hill just yet, or guys who are still entering, the ranked part of the division here. So Grant Dawson versus Bobby Green, an epic striker versus grappler matchup at 155, and 11 fights remain on this card, man. So I'll shout out the chat, but we can kick it off. I do like a lot of fights, Lou.
Great chat here.
Awesome chat. Mushroom first in line, camped out before the show even started, saying, "What's up, Patrick? What's up, Lou?" I got our guy, the Grateful Dude, saying, "LFG, let's fucking go." Jenna Marie in the building, the duo she needed after the drought. Let's get it with a whole
our girl Jenna, one of the nicest people, one of the best people in the community.
Amazing,
not to make other people feel like shit, but get on Jenna's level.
Along with Kristen as well, another gem here saying, "Hey, Patrick, Lou, in chat. Good to be back with all of you." We got our guy Jussie Q in the building. Look at that sexy beast of a man. Oh, and that other fella, Patrick. How's it going? Good to see you, man. Are you glad I swapped out the thumbnail for your picture? I've got like 4 of you, and I swap them out every time you're on the show.
Well, it's funny because I'm doing like a new NFL show, and he's using the Giants mask picture of me, and I'm like, yeah, the Giants suck. Like, I don't know. I don't want this. Like, I like any other picture. I actually like when you used like the Luigi one when I just did the mustache.
That was a good one.
By the way, my girlfriend over here, Miss Elizabeth, before she puts her headphones on, will hear this. Oh, here, I'll do this. So I explained to her that my beard's getting to the point where I look at my shadow and I'm like, my head's misshapen. It means it's time to shave. Do you understand that?
Absolutely, yeah. I've got a big pointy
Thank you.
Yeah.
I just said it was a weird thing.
She's being well, she doesn't like. Look, my lovely girlfriend, I am proud to say, does not have a beard. So
right.
She doesn't understand. But I'm like, babe, I look like I've gained 20 pounds looking at my shadow. I have to shave.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the way.
So I have 3 shows tomorrow. I'll shave.
You keep it going, man. Keep growing out that beard. See how misshapen your shadow can get.
No, I'll keep the goatee, but the side shit's got to go. Oh, Dev, my dude's in the chat though. All right.
Yeah, we got our guy Kiwi Brew in the building.
Love
what is
Kiwi.
up, brother? SD Crusader, Ryan Jordan. Yeah, hoping for the macho Lou. Hey, we got very dignified, intelligent Lou here. He's only 4 beers deep.
No, I don't know. I don't know where the headband is. So I'll get the glasses. I'll do the glasses when I do the main card.
It's Macho Man Laundry Day. We got Ryan Jordan in the building. What a weird week it's been. Back to normal life. Yeah, it did feel weird having so much extra time on our hands last week for sure. I didn't do any regional stuff or anything. I watched the fights as a fan and didn't do any prep work last week. Got some much needed sleep. LouBetya himself is also in the chat. Justin Villegas, like in Jacksonville, to win that play.
He's coming from an NFL show. He's all out of sorts.
All right, gotcha. Just my 2 cents. What is up, boys? Good to see you. 2 cents. Any action, Effie in the building? Feeling like a bitch drinking Coors right now compared to that. What was that? Like a 9% beer that Lou's drinking. We got nonstop MMA picks. What is up, boys? Good to see you in the building. And we got an Artie Lang reference, man. Especially with the beer league baseball attire. What a great movie that was.
You know, it's funny.
Not as good as Dirty Work, but still a good film.
You know, it's funny since you mentioned Dirty Work. So like. Funny thing when Norm went on Stern when Artie was there, they're ripping on Dirty Work, and they're like, Artie, you're like the worst, and Norm's like, hey, it made $1 million.
Yeah, right. $1 million.
Like it was a disaster. He's like, hey, it made $1 million.
Artie Lang used to do that thing on the road where he would, if somebody wanted to return Dirty Work, he would take it from them and give them a refund from the audience.
It's like that's like one of the greatest movies ever, and like,
yeah,
and like my favorite here's my favorite random line from that is like he's trying to make an excuse to like not hang out with the girl that he's like, and she's like, oh, he's like, no, I gotta go lift weights. What? Like even coming out of it's like, what?
With that Norm cadence every time he pauses and it's lift weights. Amazing.
Yeah. And then the prison stuff where it's like, you know what the worst part about being in jail was? The lack of respect. There was that other thing. That was the worst. But the second worst thing, the lack of ridiculous. He's like, ridiculous.
Right.
Ridiculous.
He's pulling up his pants like that was out of line.
God,
immature.
R.I.P. Norm, man. Like he was the best.
R.I.P. Norm. We could trade Norm lines all night long.
Let's go.
That's what the people are here for.
I have a lot of
Jesus in the building. What's up, man?
Go.
What is going on, Dev the Dude? Hopefully he can hit another 11-fight parlay and cash in several grand from a couple bucks.
I'm not worried about that with him. Me and him are focused on how him or I are going to fight Curtis. We're still focused on that, dude.
How's your lady friend's sense of humor compared to yours? Is she the funny one?
She's the worst.
Yeah, see, we got a lot of people saying
she thinks Jimmy Fallon is funny. She thinks Jimmy Fallon is funny.
I'm gonna barf.
All right.
Lucid in the building. What's going on, Lucid? Good to see you. I saw you in the full card breakdown comments as well. Dropping some knowledge there. I appreciate the input as always. We got Omnam in the building saying, hey, we back. Rogue Strummer in the building as well. Mushroom appreciating the Dirty Work references. Speaking of movie references, Shady's always coming in with some epic ones as well. He's a big 80s movies fan.
He's fun. Always... Shady's funny as shit, dude.
Oh, he's hilarious, man. He's the best. Daz Files in the building. Sean V in the building. We got a lot of, man, all the hard hitters are in here. What a good looking chat. It's
Lou is ratings. Lou is ratings.
It's just nothing but ratings, man. That's why you keep
no
on being
offense to any of your
guest.
other guests, but they can all suck it.
All right, man. Speaking of why people are all here, let's talk about the first fight in the prelims. Montana De La Rosa versus JJ Aldridge, women's flyweight bout, the first of 3 women's bouts in this card to kick it off. And this actually is not a bad one, all things considered. JJ's been around for a while, 12-6 record, kind of inconsistent, but she does everything generally well. Good high volume striking, good cardio pace. She can mix in some wrestling against lesser tier competition, but she can also find herself outstruck and out-wrestled against better competition. Like 2 fights ago when she fought Ariane Lipsky, who basically outstruck her and stuffed every single one of her takedowns. She's coming off that victory over Na Liang back at Singapore, which, easy layup of a fight. And luckily she did finally find her first stoppage in the UFC in round 2. Montana De La Rosa, she is a very good wrestler and grappler, but based on her last fight against Suarez, you probably weren't able to see all those skills since somebody was just way better than her in her own game there. So it's going to be a battle of, can Montana De La Rosa use her physicality, get this fight to the mat? Can JJ Aldridge keep it on the feet and, outstrike her over 3 rounds? Likely to a decision here. Do you see any chance in JJ Aldridge pulling off what she did last time and finishing the fight inside the distance?
Stop. No.
Just asking. Just making sure you're awake.
So I bet De La Rosa at minus 112. The line now is like as high as minus 140 in some spots. But what I think is the best way to play this is De La Rosa after 1. And it's not because I'm worried about Aldridge finishing her in the first round. It's that Aldridge's cardio has traditionally been bad. And I honestly think that a lot of these money lines with her are still based on the fact that she won a round against Erin Blanchfield. Yeah. I had bet Lipsky to beat her because solely like a numbers play, not. I didn't really think Lipsky was going to beat her, but I think people were parlaying Aldridge at like minus 400. I'm like, we're going to talk about somebody who's a big favorite soon. That's a woman in women's MMA. But in general, I don't find this to be a very profitable thing, like parlaying huge chalk in women's MMA. And then Nolly Yang, I mean, that's Brady's girl. So like I don't want to be disrespectful, but like
no, go ahead. He's not here. He's not
all these takedowns she had, watch the tape. Like one of them was like Nolly Yang just pulling her in a guard. Like, I mean, it wasn't like she didn't earn the takedowns and she was gassed. So how do I think this plays out? Is it like De La Rosa has a 2-inch reach advantage? I don't want to think it matters, but like, man, Aldridge's striking isn't threatening. Like, what does she have to do? The Jeff George guy. Jared's the worst, man.
What's up, Jared?
Pat, do you even know who Jeff George is?
I think he's a football player. I'm not sure.
He's an Illinois legend. So you should definitely know who he is.
He's got 2 first names. What's up with that?
Illinois legend. I kind of think that the way this fight plays out is De La Rosa like tries to establish striking, maybe gets her against the cage, but Aldridge's cardio is kind of awful. And I think that De La Rosa, yeah, I do. Like she tires from just strikes. It's not even like grappling. She just gets tired. And I think that De La Rosa, even if she has no success in the first round, trying to go for takedowns, I think just getting her against the cage, wearing her out. De La Rosa's cardio has been really good. Who does De La Rosa lose to? Killers.
Yeah.
Big step down in competition for her. I'm hesitant to play the sub props. Like, I know people are like, oh man, De La Rosa sub 2, sub 3. Her sub's plus 450. I don't hate it. I want a bigger number there for somebody who doesn't traditionally get finished. But I think De La Rosa wins. But live bet is the way to go. I'll be saying that for a couple other fights, at least 2 other fights in this card, that just live bet this. But I love De La Rosa live. And if you got her early in the week, like, God bless you.
Right. I missed it. I put 1 unit on it at minus 130. I got the worst of the line. By the time
but at 130, I think is still for somebody with a reach advantage and the grappling advantage. I think 130 is still a great line.
I think she's going to have more success in the striking than we usually give her credit for, because like you mentioned, she's facing a pretty high level of competition, doing quite well, and she's not somebody who you could say might just strike and never go for the takedowns. Like, she's always trying to close that distance and level change, get it against the cage, win minutes there. So I really do think she's going to have success getting this fight to the mat at some point here. But I just didn't feel like investing a whole lot on that, so I just put 1 unit on it. I might have paid a little bit more if I. It's just one of those things. It's like I should have bet her as an underdog. I would have put 1 unit on her at plus money to gain more in return. But I'll put the same wager in at chalk odds here, and hopefully the first fight of the night goes our way.
I'm trying to get a legend in our chat right now.
Yeah,
I won't say his name in public, but if he can take time away from the fridge.
Oh, Mike. Yeah.
Well, why'd you spoil it, man? Like, if it comes in the chat.
Well, everybody knows when they talk about the fridge.
The way, Shady is a loyalist to Michael, like I am.
Yeah. I'm a new fan. I've seen him. We've followed each other on Twitter for a long time, but you got me into watching his videos.
Unlike you, he accepts no ballyhoo.
My channel's 90% of that. So, man, I'm glad we find ourselves on the same side. I would hate to go head-to-head on JJ Aldridge and Montana De La Rosa to start the night off and have to plead a case for either of these women, but I do think the better skill set is Montana, and the size, doesn't really hurt her in this spot. So we can move along to another flyweight fight. We got Nate Maness taking on Mateusz Mendonca. Is that the next fight up? No. I'm skipping around.
Yeah, no, you're not skipping. They moved it around today.
They moved it?
Yeah, they did. This was originally the second fight. Now it's Munoz, right?
All right, let's go Munoz Jr.
No, they did. They moved it around today.
Okay, that's why my notes.
In all fairness,
I felt like Cody from Blood Money MMA Bets here.
No, Marcel didn't tell us they moved everything around. They literally moved it around this morning. Like, everything was Yeah. Like my notes are all out of order because of this. Very, very rude. Very rude of them.
Very rude. Let's go Johnny Munoz Jr. versus Arichi Lang. I apologize, folks. Bantamweight bout up next. This time we have sort of another one of these striker versus grappler matchups. A BJJ fighter in Johnny Munoz Jr. getting the majority of his wins by submission, looking to get the fight to the mat. Arichi Lang, the Mongolian murder. This guy is a very high output, aggressive, pressure forward striker. Shows pretty good durability most of the time, although he did suffer his first defeat by knockout in his last fight against Ayman Zahabi in round 1. Pretty much fell right into that win condition of Ayman Zahabi, who's going to throw very limited offense, and hopefully it lands powerfully early. And that's exactly what happened. He walked right into his strikes. So although I do like Arichi Lang's striking game, his cardio seems okay. I mean, he can work through fatigue, even though he does visibly fade as the fight goes on. I like his offense landing at like 6 significant strikes landed per minute on average. It's impressive, but he gets hit with 7 in return. So yeah, I mean, I do think he'll have most of the success if this stays standing, but with striking defense as bad as Arichi Lang's, I can't help but think that Johnny Munoz Jr. could have some success on the feet in some moments there, but it's really also the takedown defense of Arichi Lang that sketches me out, and I think Munoz could certainly get this fight to the mat. But why I don't want to trust him, Lou, is because his last fight just looked like a total he just looked like a jobber in his last fight. You know, he was pulling guard against Daniel Santos, looked very psyched out mentally and kind of intimidated by that shoot to box pressure. So he's not really a guy I want to back right now until he proves something else. But I am leaning Johnny Munoz Jr. Do you have any more faith in Arichi Lang's ability to stay on his feet here?
No, don't bet this fight. And if you have to bet it, bet the split decision, because so I have like a lot of notes on this fight. So first and foremost, let's talk about the fact that—
Wait, can I cut you off real fast just to piggyback off of that? I always find myself with pages and pages of notes for fights I'm not going to bet, because I'm always trying to convince myself of one way or another. And then before you know it, I've got like all these facts and fighters, and it's just totally irrelevant to making money.
So, but I like keep my hand, like I'm like, Cody shows his notes, like our friend, Blood Money, Cody. Yeah, I cap 3 sports a week for YouTube videos, and like another one, like I do soccer and like NCAA. Dude, I love keeping my notes. Like it's great. Like I learn more from writing notes, so I love it. So I have like way too many notes for this fight, and the thing is I was like, well, how do I find an edge? Is there an edge? The answer is, of course, there's not an edge. If I have to bet a side, it would be Arichi Lang. And it's for one reason. And I don't want to go through all my notes here, but I'll go through some of them. Arichi Lang's wins are terrible. He lost to Jeff Molina, which, by the way, I think Molina's like underrated.
Molina's like fight. That was an epic fight.
But I think Molina's like an underrated grab. Like he's weirdly tough.
Yeah.
Kind of well-rounded. Like I think Molina like gets a lot of hate. It's not bad. And the Durden fight, like, dude, what would Cody Durden be lined against him right now? 500?
So it'd be massive. And
but I mean, like Durden's leveling up, man. Like Durden has been leveling up. Okay, I can't rate the Cameron Else win because Else is like really bad.
Yeah, that was a quick one,
dude. I could run around the cage and last longer than Else. The Jay Perrin fight. I heard your video. Like even a guy like Jay Perrin, I was like, hey.
Your boy. I know, your boy.
But like Perrin almost 10-8'd him because his cardio like fell off. Like Perrin almost 10-8'd him in the third.
Mm-hmm.
And then Zahabi, like, was it flukish or was like, because it was like kind of like a weird result. Like, I think Zahabi's a better fighter than him, but I feel like it was like a kind of like a flukish one shot. So I don't like with him in general, I don't know how to rate him. And Munoz is coming off the worst yam bag in history because he was pissing blood, dude.
Oh my God, yeah.
You don't get yam bagged harder. Munoz should have called the MMA engine and said, like, hey man, if I'm gonna get kicked in the sack so many times, let's make money. I'd have played ball with this. But like, what are his good wins? The Shaolin win is terrible. Like the Gravely fight is bad. Like he beat Jamie Summers. Like, okay, like Jamie Summers is can crusher. And the Maness loss is like, I think Maness, like we're gonna get to Maness soon, but like I think Maness is just a way better fighter than him, well more rounded. What does Munoz do well? I can tell you the one thing. If I have to give you an edge in this fight, if you have to bet every fight, because, Pat, we have people that have to bet every fight.
Yeah.
I would tell you bet the split. I would favor Richie Lang. And the only reason I would say this is he is the only guy in this fight capable of winning minutes because Munoz is so content sometimes to lay on his back and play jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, that's scary.
And if you get around, like, yeah, Munoz is bigger. He has a slight reach advantage. Is his striking better? Nobody's striking is better. But if something hits the mat and Richie Lang's on top, he'll probably stay on top for 3 minutes. So if I had to pick a side for the show, I'd pick him. But, like, just bet the split, dude. Like, nobody's a moment winner here.
Probably plus 450 or so, plus 400.
I would be shocked. I'd be shocked if it was that much. Shocked.
Yeah, I wonder.
You know what a women's fight is for split decision that, like, is going to go to this decision all time?
Plus 300.
Plus 350. It's typical. Yeah. That's like the baseline. So this is probably plus 400, but it may not even be that much.
Yeah, BetOnline has it at plus 300, so I think DraftKings
just honestly just lay off this fucking fight.
Yeah, it's a 50-50 fight for a reason.
But I realize that my audience is like, well, I have to bet every fight. And I'm like, then bet the split decision. Okay, but like, just
draw bags?
No, he got kicked in the balls. So, no, dude. Because Santos got a point deducted, right? I
don't think so. I think they just because I think it happened really early in that fight, so they just kind of took a break.
This dude was tweeting pictures of his like drained ball sack at like a week later, and I'm like, and of course I'm an asshole because people are like loose the soul. People like him are like tagging me, and I'm like, yeah, this is like, yeah, right.
This is the definition of a yam bag.
I'm like, yeah, right. I'm like, that looks like it fucking sucked, dude. Like that sucks, and it's like, yeah. You want to talk to like fucking Mike Jackson, like getting eye gouged and ball shot by like it sucks. But I'm more upset that the point wasn't taken. Right. Leading balls in up. Also, I don't like capper shirts, but if Mushroom decides to make a shirt that says bleeding balls and no point, not only do I give my permission, but like I'd buy one.
If the chat, since we're on the topic of epic yam bags of all time, the best that I've ever seen in the UFC was Gabriel Gonzaga versus Chris Tuchscherer, which they did not. There was
that's heavyweight bags, dude.
Yeah, but they pulled a bucket out and let Chris Tuchscherer, who just got kicked in the balls, they let him puke in it and they still put him back into fight. I don't think there was a point taken, if memory serves me right.
I mean,
it was
look,
epic.
The game has changed.
Yeah,
but
unfortunately.
Yeah, like, all right. Anyway, I don't want to get on the ball. Yeah, let's go.
All right, so we're 50-50 on this one. You're going to Richie Lang. I don't blame you there. Just for the lack of defense in all fronts, I will take Johnny Munoz in theory, but I just don't think a Richie Lang is going to be a hard target to find to take down. But look, man, Munoz doesn't do the most damage when he's on top, so some judges might not even count that as being effective there. So I would pass on this one, as what we're saying here. No bets for either of us. Maybe that split decision could be a D-Gen play, but we can move along to a fight I'm actually pretty excited for. Another women's fight here at 115, strawweight bout between the returning Kanako Morata.
Look who's in the chat.
She takes on Vanessa Demopoulos. What is up, Mike? How you doing, man? I hope you are staying blessed and your ankle's healing up, brother. Good to see you. That was a nasty break.
Just so you know, Mike, just so you know, there's going to be some ballyhoo on the show.
We'll try to keep it at a minimum, but good to see you, Mike.
But there'll be no minimum ballyhoo.
Yeah, man. I love
you guys have a chance.
Shout out to Mike though. Make sure you subscribe to his channel. He's growing towards 1,000.
Best. So. If you by the way, you guys should check out the props to consider with him. Yes, the fights are past. Watch the first 20 minutes because a lot of it was about the state of the gambling industry, better May tips, like just a lot of it. Like Mike was very wise. It was no offense to you, Pat, or anybody else that's been on the prop show. It's literally my favorite props to consider that I've done.
I liked it. He did it nice and early. I was at my desk watching it on a Friday morning.
Him and I gelled in a way. We talked about doing the show for forever. Him and I gelled so perfectly, for a guy I've never worked with so perfectly. Like, I'm so grateful for Mike. I'm so grateful for what he does in the community. Like, go follow him. He's the best. And also, my friend Tommy still wants to know what brand of air fryer you have, Mike. So go find out.
Absolutely. Broke bets in the building. My guy Lane, possibly Carson.
And we got Chronic. And now the Chronic fuckers.
Oh man, we got a strong chat in the house tonight, man. They all want
Lou is ratings.
Yeah, Lou is ratings, man. Border Rage in the building. My guy, OG subscriber from day one. My guy.
I don't know who it is, but I love it.
What is going on? So we got a female fighter here at what, -3?
We probably have 2 female fighters.
-325. Kanako Morata coming off of an over 2-year-long layoff after that broken arm from Virna Jandiroba back in 2021. Vanessa Demopoulos, BJJ black belt, grappler, scrappy fighter, pretty tough, never been finished before in her career. She's the +275 underdog, and she's been the more active fighter here. Do you agree with this line, Lou? You can kick this one off, man. It's a -325 and a long layoff female strawweight. Okay, how do you feel about that?
So some steam's come in on Demopoulos. So it's down to Morata was as high as -400. Now she's 325. You and I had talked early in the week. I said, I'm kind of debating this. I'm not unconvinced he's not like a broken chat GPT at this point. He's just a dude that says like sentences, but like there's no check if the sentences make sense.
I love it, man. I love Justin. He's the best. The chats are always better with him in there.
There's like the triumvirate of like people that annoy me. It's like Dixon Sider. He sucks. There's Daniel Covert. He's the fucking worst. And then there's Justin, who at least has like spirit, and he knows at this point he's annoying me, so he's like riding with it. And I like Justin, and I love that Justin supports our chats. The other two can kick rocks. You and I talked earlier in the week. I'm like, man, I'm debating this Demopoulos +3.5.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if we get a good price in Demopoulos +3.5, I might be interested because, you know, laying this kind of big chalk on a women's fight is just not profitable. And she's coming off a layoff and then like, you know, I deep dive and I deep dive and I deep dive, and I'm like, Morata can just finish this chick so bad. Like,
yeah.
And like, what's funny is like, you know, we talk about capping on your last fight because I think a lot of people just wiki cap and Tapology cap, and it's not you. I'm saying in general, I think that like people tend to not look past like the last fight and like her getting her arm broken by Virna. Like, Pat, what would Virna be capped against Demopoulos?
-1,000, -500, maybe, if we're being
honest. More than that, dude. She fucked Demopoulos up.
Yeah. Well, that's probably true because not only does she have the striking, the wrestling, but she also overlaps the skill set of the BJJ of Demopoulos. So it's like she has no chance, really.
So I don't know, like, where is Demopoulos better here? Because you know, I've seen 2 people in Twitter say her improved striking.
Yeah.
Well, improved from what? Like, she out volumed Jinyu Frey, who throws like 5 punches a fight.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, I had a bet on Demopoulos. In fact, I had Demopoulos split decision against Jinyu Frey. I didn't deserve to win that, but I did. Why'd I win it? Because Jinyu Frey throws nothing. Well, Murata's going to not throw nothing. And if this gets on the mat, which it's going to in this fight, if this is 15 minutes of stand-up, I'd be shocked. Well, what's Demopoulos' path? Armbar from guard? Like, it's not going to happen. I think Morata probably subs her, to be honest. Like, but this number's come down to the point where like she's parlayable with 2 other plays I'm going to give you on this card. I'm playing 3 2-leg parlays. Morata's leg 1. And then we'll get to the other 2 on the main card. But like, yeah, I think Morata actually, I think a small poke on the Morata finish it's +250, Pat. Demopoulos has never been finished, but who the fuck is Demopoulos facing that could finish her? Like, this whole, like, you know, my thing about not betting against guys that have never been finished on the regionals. like we don't know what they look like in adversity. I know what Demopoulos looks like against very mediocre opponents. If Morata is 60% of what she's been on the regionals, she's going to she's going to homicide her. Like the skill gap here is crazy, dude.
Yeah, I think it is. I don't know. How do you feel about this? Rogue is saying she's physically stronger than Morata. I'm not sure about that. I'm really not sure about that. I mean, maybe, but I think Morata's technical skill in the wrestling, she's so efficient with her movements, and she knows like how to move her opponents.
So let me
forth against the cage, get into top guard. I just feel like she's going to be the more efficient tactician here with the grappling.
I by the way, shout out to Rogue. He's another guy. He's in a lot of chats. Sharp dude. Like not causing problems. I know he's saying who is Morata beaten? Like Mark. By the way, I mean Marcos is way better than Demopoulos. Way better. I'll take Marcos over Demopoulos all day. The one thing I like about Is She Stronger is that Morata's been wrestling for so long. And I'm not comparing her to Bo Nickel. But when you get these people that have been wrestling for so long, the grip strength, this doesn't go away during injuries.
No.
Her grip strength, like there's no way Demopoulos is going to be stronger than her. So if Demopoulos somehow gets on top, Morata's going to chuck her off. Verna is different because Verna is a world class submission specialist and grappler. Demopoulos, to her credit, I think she's improved. But like at 35, I don't know what improvements we've seen. And last thing I'll say is she's changed camps a couple of times the last few years. I never liked that, Pat.
Yeah, not a good sign to not have that rapport with the
this
team.
Is not by the way,
knows you on your best day, knows you on your worst days. You know,
I'm not fighting. I'm not fighting with Rogue. Like I'm not arguing. No. Like Rogue's one of the best, man. Like
yeah.
I think Marcos at least is like a specialist. Is Marcos great? No, but she was ranked. Like Marcos is a formerly ranked weak class, but Marcos is at least a specialist. Like, and I think that Marcos, what would you line Marcos against Demopoulos? Not now, but Marcos is a favorite,
a moderate favorite. Yeah, probably.
Well, Mike even said Randy Couture is grip strength, dude. Pat, can you rip a phone book?
Possibly, if it was already semi-cut. I'd have to do that magic trick where it's already cut almost. I could.
You don't have the grip strength to do it.
Probably not. I mean, maybe.
Well, I know somebody that can do it. And do you know where I knew that person? They worked with Billy Mays.
Oh, really? Great.
They had a course for grip strength, and this dude could legit rip phone books. Pat, why can't you rip a fucking phone book?
I don't know, man. Maybe one of those smaller ones that just have the white pages, not like a thick phone, like a thick phone book. That's damn near impossible. That'd be crazy.
I can rip a phone book, Pat. You know what I could rip? My cell phone. I could bust my cell phone. I can rip but you can't?
Yeah, this is interesting that what Mike brought up. And it's not only the wrestlers that have...
Do you even lift, Pat?
Occasionally. But yeah, they have the isometric strength, that cage pressing ability when people are, oh, look at this guy, man. Built out of absolute steel. Mushroom with the Billy Mays contact coke high. Classic.
Billy Mays here. Sorry, fuck me.
Oh my god.
This happens to me to Shuey before the show.
I've got some big hands. I could probably do it.
Pat, Pat, we're gonna do a phone book ripping competition. Capped. We're gonna have to do it based on weight. So I have to do half of the phone book that you do.
You do a notebook, like a school notebook with 8x11 paper.
I do the blue pages. You know the blue pages in the phone book?
Yeah, you just do the front part.
I just do the no. You remember this? You know, the phone book I have this is just the ads. I do get the blue pages. You get the fucking. You get the rest of it. Sorry, I just make sure the glasses. Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Where's Eric? Where's Eric to buy me a new pair of macho shades?
Dude, Eric is. I miss Eric. He pops in the chat every now and then.
Yeah, shout out to our boy Eric. But we miss you, bud.
We got to make a trip out to Las Vegas and go do some trivia with him. But yeah, man, we're both on this. Did you bet Kaneka Morata in a parlay? You said
I just said I parlayed her. With 2 fights. We're gonna talk. Okay. I did 3 2-leg parlays. We're gonna talk about.
I'm excited now. I really think that this line is not far off at this point. I think Morata runs through her. I do like that submission call that you have there. She's going to spend probably like 10 minutes in control time. So the odds of her getting something going, like against Randa Marco, she almost got that Darce choke, almost got a north-south. She could probably do it against Demopoulos here. So we're on the same side of that one. We're back to agreeing here. Let's see if we can do this for the flyweight bout up next. Nate Maness taking on Mateusz Mendonca. I see a lot of people on the side of one of the newer fighters in this entire fight card, Mateusz Mendonca, a shoot-to-box 24-year-old. And he fights kind of like that. I mean, he fought Javid Bashrat to a decision loss and had some moments getting some wrestling going, getting some strikes going. 10-1 record. He suffered his first loss back in January in his debut. But Nate Maness, coming in here, and both of these guys are now switching weight classes in their next effort in the UFC. Maness was a featherweight, a bantamweight. He's like 5'10", and he made that drastic cut where he looked awful, before the fight, before rehydrating, but he went in there. We really didn't get a chance to see what he was fully capable of because Tajir just jumped on him and got that guillotine. But I think Maness is a pretty talented fighter, very dangerous striker, kind of some weird angles to his punches, and he's got very fast hand speed. And he'll have a massive size advantage if he comes in here and makes weight over Mateusz Mendonca, who is more of that 5'6", flyweight build. So, man, I got to say, where the money line is at, I just got to let it do the talking for me here. I have not bet this one. I've been going back and forth, but the money line seems to be still sort of improving. Plus 218 for Nate Maness, Mateusz Mendonca minus 258. Lou, is this not a product of Mendonca being a shoot-to-box guy, making a competitive debut against somebody really good in Basharat, and then Nate Maness has been on a bad skid, right? He's been tossed around by 2 Russian wrestlers. I feel like there's more to Maness's game than this plus 218 indicates. Is it worth a dog shot here?
So I have a half unit on Maness. My reverse CLV trophy should be arriving in the mail soon for betting him at plus 190 as I'm watching it like fucking get to plus 220.
Yeah.
So, I like to watch my boys, and I watched Cody's video, and Cody was pretty confident. Mendonca, as he called him. It's Mendonca. I'm American. It's Mendonca. I don't know why he's fucking saying it like that. So it came down to a couple things for me. So like when I capped, because I have a couple things to say about this one. Well, I can tell you that's false because I have never ripped a phone book. So like I'm telling you that's false. Or at least it's not mutually exclusive. There may be more like my wrist strength is strong. So, like now, Pat, you don't cap Contender Series. I do. Like, I mean, I'm saying is like I was doing shows, like I was capping Contender Series.
Yeah.
And I capped him for the Contender Series. Now, the guy he fought, Ajika Jim, was a crazy, immense can crusher. A guy with no real wins. And Donka was like minus 300. And I'm like,
based on the result, he looked like it, huh?
But dude, this was a setup fight. Like, I'm like, man, Ajika Jim is terrible. Like, I'm like, dude, this guy is fucking terrible. And you see this, dude, look, this every year. There's guys in the Contender Series are like, we're setting you up. Dude, there's a guy last night was minus 1,500, didn't get a finish. And they hired both of them. Because Dana White's dude, I don't even fucking know anymore, man.
I saw some rumblings of it. I didn't get a chance to watch it live.
You're minus 1,500. You got to win by finish. Dude, it's terrible.
Yeah.
So Ajim was bad. So that's a horrible win. And then he fights Javid. And because we've talked so many times on air, privately, like I'm a massive fan of the Basharats. I think very highly of their fight IQ. They're so well-rounded. He had moments early and then he gaffed. So I don't know what to make of him. He knocked out a dude who stinks. Then he fought a dude who's good, and he had okay moments, and he got fucking owned. But he got owned as a plus 290. He was a dog.
Mm-hmm.
And then what do you make of Maness? He loses to Russians. Let's throw those out. Let's throw those fights out. He beats Gravely, but also, did he?
Yeah, he got knocked out. I think his jaw got broken. He got knocked out at the buzzer.
But I mean,
Keith Peterson just thought he was doing okay and let him go out there and scored an epic comeback knockout. So
if it's any other ref, it's a Gravely round 1 KO. Can we? But I mean, you can't look at this as like he made an epic comeback. Look at it as like, dude, this motherfucker got 10-8'd. And like, if you could ever make a case for a 10-7, there's a 10-7, Pat. Right? No, I'm not joking. A 10-7 in boxing is you get knocked down twice and you're hurt the whole round and you survive. That's a 10-7.
I've only seen a couple in the UFC.
It's rare, but that's
the guy's been knocked down like a million times and then gets back up.
He had to get dragged back to his corner, Pat. Like, yeah. I'm saying is like that could be a 10-7. Luke Sanders was piecing. Like, so look, I bet Maness plus 190, small, half unit. I don't love it. Here's what I'm going to say. If you want to bet this fight, again, wait around. Mendonca's getting all the steam for being shoot a box guy. You mentioned it. We're just, everybody's like, oh man, what I love? Pat, what I love? Everybody's like, man, shoot a box gym's on fire, all on fire. Dude, most of these guys are losing. They're just not getting finished.
Yeah, they look really good in defeat.
They're like, oh man, you see that guy against Cop? I'm like, yeah, he lost 30-27. He just didn't die. He lost.
Yeah.
Elvis Brenner looked great against Guram, who hadn't fought in 4 years. They're clearly on fucking steroids. Like, okay, but like everybody's like, man, shoot a box on fire. They're on fire not because of skills. They're just not getting finished. Pat, how do you cap this fight for decision equity?
I like Maness big time here because we're looking at Mendonca 10-1, and he's got all of his finishes in round 1.
Does Maness have to survive the first?
Yeah, he's going to.
Then why not just live bet him, right?
Yeah, we'll see.
Cup of coffee in the big time.
I think that's the move. There's a couple more spots we're going to talk about, especially on the main card too, where it's like, man, if one guy gets out of round 1, probably not going to get much better for him. Mathematically, I'm not making a big case that Nate Maness is even like an amazing fighter, but I think he's got power. He's certainly going to have a size advantage here. He's got way more experience, being 32 years old and having more pro experience and time in the cage. And he's finally going to face a guy who might not wrestle him from pillar to post. I mean, most of the guys that Nate Maness has faced so far have been taking him down. We haven't got a chance to see his true game yet. And just where the money line is at, I think you're on the value side of that one. So I haven't gotten there myself, but if I do, it will be a half unit shot at this plus 218 number here. But glad we're seeing this fight the same way. And I do like Mendonca. I think in the future, he's going to be a pretty dangerous guy. Absolutely. Yeah, Rhino balls, man, for picking this side of it. But, man, we're talking about this in terms of gambling, so.
Pat, if anybody needs my number, it's on the back of my license plate.
And Mushroom said it. Get some help Keith Peterson, man. That was go back and rewatch that Nate Maness, Tony Gravely fight, guys. That was epic. Tony Gravely pretty much had that fight won and got knocked out cold, not but what, 2 minutes later?
Pat, you know what Maness was live after 1?
What was it?
Off the board.
It was like what was he like plus 1,000?
No, it was off. They refused to give a number. It was off the board.
Oh, I see. It was like they closed the books. It's over with.
There was no number they could have put up, dude.
Are you changing? What are you doing?
Smoking a cigarette.
Oh, gotcha. I might do it on camera. You got to do it out the window.
I'm putting on my tutu.
All right. Speaking of tutus, that's a great segue. We can move into the third female fight of the night. We got Karolina Kowalkiewicz taking on Diana Belbita, women's strawweight bout here. And I see a lot of people back and forth in this one. The money line is somewhat relatively close here. We got Karolina at minus 163, Diana Belbita, the underdog, at plus 143. Two strikers here both have kickboxing roots in their background. Obviously, Karolina Kowalkiewicz, much older and a lot more experience at the UFC level. She had a 5-fight losing streak, and now she's come back with more appropriate competition for being 37, and now she's on a 3-fight winning streak, showing a lot more grappling these days. When the fight does go into that realm, she's, showing that she's very well-rounded. And I'm not excited about, backing somebody at this point in their career. She's had health concerns. She's got Hashimoto's disease she battles. That probably doesn't help the weight cut down to 115. And things don't get much better at this age. But, man, I just feel like she's the much, much, much better striker here. And on the ground, she's the much, much, much better, more experienced grappler, too, if it goes that way. So, Diana Belbita, I mean, she throws a lot of volume, Lou, but she gets hit so much in return, almost like compared the stats to Arichi Lang we talked about earlier. Like, yeah, she's pumping out 6, significant strikes a minute on average, but she's getting hit by just as many in return. I just don't like a lot about her striking. She just looks like she's just throwing out really non-technical punches and getting hit by Hannah Goldie at a very high clip, by Maria Oliveira at a very high clip. I think Kowalkiewicz can really maintain distance and piece her up on the feet. But I haven't bet her yet. Should I be on a bet on Carolina here?
Oh, yeah. And just do it now, because forget about like that she's going to get pieced up on the feet. Like, so there's the trend about age difference. Like, and I get it. Like, and people use this all the time. But you know who else uses this? Pat, who uses the age difference as like Bible?
Who's this?
Gianni uses it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, the stats. You can't go against the stats.
Okay, but like, Pat, did you ever watch boxing?
Yes.
Do you know why I hate age things? You know who one of the greatest middleweight champions of all time is? It's Bernard Hopkins.
Yeah, there's been some good boxers that have had their second wind in the second part of their career, especially.
Okay, but this is very important for UFC, for all fights, all combat sports. Do you know why Bernard Hopkins was able to compete at a high level in his 40s, Pat? He was in jail. He didn't take the damage.
That makes sense.
Like, dude, Darren Elkins is, or like how, like some of these dudes, like Cub Swanson, even like the last couple of years, guys can be in their early 30s, but they've taken the damage of like a 50-year-old. So just this blanket thing of like, well, he's this much younger and he's much older. Right. It's a stupid stat. It's about damage taken in your life.
Yeah, it's like that fight odometer. How many fight miles he got on you?
Like I'm not like the biggest Floyd Mayweather guy, but dude, he can still fight at a high level today if he wants, because he's taken no damage in his career. Like, it's all that damage you've taken, like endured, broken bones, like your chin. So if your chin, like Bernard Hopkins never got hurt. Of course he can fight high level at 48 as a tactician. So Kowalkiewicz is like 10 years older. Belbita is terrible. Now, Kowalkiewicz, here's the biggest thing for me and why I think the line is like not even wide enough. She's showing she's at least willing to go for takedowns, right? Yes or no?
Yeah, she'll go for it. And against this level of competition, it's working out for her,
okay.
And
I'm gonna name
Belbita gets knocked over by a weak wind.
Well, I want to give you a list of people that have taken down Belbita. Maria Oliveira, come on, dude. Gloria DePaula, Hannah Goldie, and then Molly McCann, D1 McCann, took her down 5 times.
Yeah.
So just playing this narratively, let's say on the feet Belbita is actually landing punches. Kowalkiewicz is fuck this, takes her down. Is Belbita getting up? She's gonna win She's gonna win minutes, dude. Like, so I don't like. What's Belbita's path? Like, Belbita's path here is Kowalkiewicz just standing up with her and actually not landing anything, and Belbita deciding I'm gonna land 150 strikes. I just don't see it. Like, and I know she's like Luke's, like, oh, she lost. Didn't she lose to Joe Jua?
She got that's the only person that didn't have to take her down because she armbarred her.
Right. So like that's Luke's girl, our buddy Sparring at Reality. Like that's Luke's chick. Like, get the fuck out of here, dude. Like, like she beat Oliveira, and I don't think she deserved to win. By the way, I had to split decision in that fight because terrible women's fight. Like, why am I not betting? That was plus 350, Pat. I remember like plus 350 is terrible odds, but yeah, I think Kowalkiewicz and like I don't think she finishes her, but I think dude, minus 160 is I got it at 150 something. And this is the first time ever in my life Bet MMA Tips was like, no, here's the balloon. I'm like,
Oh yeah.
I'm like,
they're like you're faking it. These aren't the real odds. They're like, slow it down. I just
dude, it was minus 154, and I'm like, on 2 books, and I'm like, I don't care. Like, it's, dude, I'm not selling anything except a good time, so I'm not worried about it.
Right,
but like,
exactly.
I don't like the balloon.
Yeah, I'm non-decision. We just kind of mentioned this. Can she sub her? I mean, possibly. I don't know if it's going to take place in that realm for long enough to get a sub. But man, if she takes her back, she can certainly hunt for submissions. But I think Belbita, I can trust in Belbita maybe to improve.
Can I just say why not?
Finished.
Can I say why not to bet this? It's 5-1.
Yeah.
I need way more than that.
Yeah. Does this bother you at all? What Donnie's saying, the height and reach advantage? I don't.
No, because
uses it.
No, and I'll tell you why. Because she's another one that, like, she doesn't throw straight shots.
Right.
She throws loopy punches. And Pat, we've seen this so many times. You know, we're talking about boxing, but now we're talking about like MMA boxing. I don't care if your reach advantage. If you don't throw straight shots, your reach advantage means like legit nothing.
Right.
Like, that's why Kevin Holland, like, I know Kevin Holland lost to JDM, but like, the one thing about Kevin Holland is he throws a lot of jabs. Like, he does use his reach advantage. Everybody's like, oh, he's a retard. Yeah, he does stupid shit. But not in the boxing realm. Like, in the boxing realm, he doesn't. Like, it's a lot of straight shots. Like, that's why that fight was so infuriating to me, that JDM Holland fight. Because I had to bet on Holland. JDM didn't hurt Holland. And Holland didn't hurt JDM. Like, nobody hurt each other. JDM didn't land clean shots. It's just Holland's optics of, like, rolling them and being like, ha, ha, ha. But, like, whenever Holland went forward and just used his length, dude, he's landing. I mean, like, not landing, like, clean, but he did. He landed some jabs and, like, he got through and, like, dude, just do this all the time and stop, you know what I mean? Like,
he's a guy with so much potential compared to what he shows. It's
well, no, I think
you never back him.
Yeah, but that was, like, I think if you ran that fight 10 times, they probably go 50-50. Like, JDM didn't land. Well, he didn't land, like, one clean shot. Like, nobody landed a clean shot. So it's hard to say, right?
It's hard to say, but yeah, this is shady. This is the easy way to say it. Holland, a good fade.
I know, like, I love him, dude. Like, look, I would take the plus 135 that I got on Holland all day. Like, in a fight where nobody landed any damage. Yeah, but the optics were like him being like, and JDM closed out the first 2 rounds really well in terms of volume, not landing, but like the optics were good. Holland had horrible optics, dude. And he always has horrible optics.
All right, you've officially talked me on to a Karolina Kowalkiewicz bet here. So that's going to be a bet for me. I don't know. I might just put just 1 unit on it after we're done here, but
am I just crushing it tonight in terms of
maybe I'll do the 1.63 to win 1 in return on that minus 163. I just think she's a much better. It was really the age and all of her.
Why don't you just parlay her with Morata and be like, no, you know why? Because then you just blame it on women. You blame it on, like, why did I bet women's MMA? I gotta pop this.
What would that be? Karolina Kowalkiewicz, because I do think they both.
Money with Morata?
Yeah, I could get plus money with Morata here. I'm gonna plug it in right now and bet online just for the sake of it. Yeah, we're looking at plus 111 for Morata and Kowalkiewicz. I'll probably leave Morata out of it, but I do think they're both going to come through and win. Glad we're on the same side of that. I like Belbita. She seems like a cool personality, but as far as her striking defense, just absolutely terrible. She's got a nice high kick, though, but she's always getting tagged with punches before she could even land back to stance. So, yeah, blame it on the women. Here we are. But, man, that's the last women's fight on this card. We move on to a pretty fun fight here. My favorite fight on this entire card, Lou. Felipe Lins versus Ian CAlaba at
you're being the worst.
The prestigious light heavyweight division, of which we have very few fights because the
is this the last fight on the prelims?
This is the last fight on the prelims. Felipe Lins, Ian CAlaba, Brazil versus Moldova. We've got Felipe Lins. Speaking of guys having a second wind at the end of their career here, this guy's like 38 years old. Comes down to 205 now after a pretty lackluster start at heavyweight in the UFC, and 38 years old, and this guy's now putting away OSP in less than a minute. That was nice. He was able to out wrestle Marcin Prachnio, not just go in there with a meat-headed game plan of swanging and banging, but actually, wrestling him against the cage, getting some takedowns. That was nice to see. Against Maxim Grishin, we saw some really strong striking as well, good pressure, a little bit more defense there. So I will say with Felipe Lins, 38 years old, this guy has battled a lot of injuries in his career. He was in the PFL, he was in Bellator, he's had some bum knee issues, he struggled to even make weight and get to the scales. A lot of canceled fights, so you never like to see that. I mean, how many times did this guy try to fight Ben Rothwell a couple of years ago before? I never thought we'd see him fight again, but
not as many times as I've tried to fight Chris Curtis.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't want a piece of Chris Curtis on Twitter these days? But I will tell you this, Ian CAlaba is one of my favorite fighters in the roster, not because he's great, but because he's very exciting, and you just never know what the hell is going to happen in his fights, which is really the basis for any fight being exciting is the question marks. But combat sambo background, Greco-Roman wrestler in Ian CAlaba, the much younger man here, still at 29 years old. And yeah, he's got a lot of 15 or 14 first-round finishes, and he's got the potential to go in there and out-wrestle somebody until, all 3 rounds are up. But he can also get flipped on his back and subbed by Johnny Walker. He can get, his neck snatched up by Ryan Spann. He can have Kennedy Nzechukwu in all sorts of trouble and then find a couple knees landing on his chin, and he gets knocked out there. So the will to continue fighting, I mean, this guy's like a total glass cannon. So I can't back him with my money here. He is a slight favorite at -150. Felipe Lins +130. I think this is as coin toss of a fight as it gets. So give me the plus money on Lins, the naturally bigger man. And as long as he doesn't get chinned in round 1, I think he could win this fight inside the distance. You have a stronger take on this one, man. And do you also like the Hulk, Ian CAlaba? Isn't he exciting?
Well, so before we start, I shared something with you on the YouTubes, and I know just my 2 cents is hanging around, so he's going to hate this. Can you please put up what I shared? So Ian CAlaba will always be the second best person from Moldova.
Yes, you mentioned this.
The best fighter of all time will always be the proletariat boor of Moldova.
Oh man,
that's it.
That's probably like the mascot of that entire country.
Right. I just want everybody to know. The proletariat boor of Moldova, number one, and then everybody else is less. This is very simple to bet. Calaba's round 1 props are like the worst. It's like less than 200.
Oof.
Lins is a perfect live bet here because this thing gets out of the first. I think Lins will knock him the fuck out.
Okay.
Actually, I lied. I don't think he's going to knock him out. I think he's going to submit him. Because Calaba, and I'm giving some credit to Brady here. We were talking about this. Calaba's cardio sucks, but you know what he does even more than that? Makes massive mistakes on the ground. And when he gets tired, he shoots from way out. Lins is not like some massive submission grappler, but that's what makes his +800 so appealing at submission. Is if Calaba just shoots because he's gaffed in the second, third round. He just grabs the neck and he's done, dude. I mean,
we've seen Lins jump on guillotines before.
Yeah, and look at the dudes that have submitted Calaba. They're not world-class jiu-jitsu practitioners. They're just took advantage of him being tired. So I like the Lins sub prop, but as much as I like Lins at +132, I like him a lot better at +250 live after round 1.
Yeah, and I think to your point there about Calaba's grappling is he's going to go for it, and the worst thing that could happen, so it's total 50-50 in the first 2 minutes if they strike and trade punches there. But if Calaba has some success, getting to Felipe Lins, grabbing hold of him, trying to wrestle him and control him, I really do think he's going to gas himself out by doing that pretty quickly. And come round 2, I think you're right. He might win round 1. You get a better number on Lins in round 2, and then I think Calaba's going to be a shell of himself there. So his very success in the grappling early on could really be his demise as this goes. I don't trust this gas tank at all, but I do like him as a fighter. But man, I don't know. Lins, he does look good, doesn't he? But I just ignore this is kind of like the KK fight, where I should ignore.
It's more a fade on Calaba. By the way, and Calaba shaved his beard. He looked like a presentable human being today. Yeah, so he should be 10. It should be +1,000 now. Yeah, I don't think Lins looks. Jesus Christ, Lins doesn't look better. Yeah, I mean, but he's a way better live bet.
Yeah, chat's Chat's on the same side of this one too.
All right, am I ready to do this now that we've hit the main card? I'm doing this for Jenna.
Oh, we got a shoey. We got a shoey poured up.
I'm gonna sound like such an awful person. Her dog's name wasn't Diamond, right? It was.
I thought so.
Is it?
I thought so.
Oh my god, is my memory like amazing?
I think so. Yeah.
I'm asking her.
Yes. Sound off, Jenna. You still in here?
Is it Diamond? Am I right? Is my memory like just really? It is. Okay. So, by the way, Jenna, if you ever doubted that I didn't care about you from the fucking jump, that I remembered that, that's amazing. So Jenna, this is for you. Pat, this is sort of for you.
Thank you, sir. It's a nice looking shoe.
Well, Pat, you want to laugh? You want to know I knew this is the shoey shoe? Because I smelled it and I'm like, oh, it smells like cinnamon. I'm like, that's right. I did Fireball out of this.
I did that out of one of my Crocs once. I had to hose it down. It was sticky the next time. I forgot I put
dude,
Fireball.
why? This one's like, what the fuck, dude? Like,
Kristen with the round 2 sub at plus 1,800, round 3 sub plus 2,500. I'll drink to that. Let's go, Lou.
All right. By the way, another 8.7% shoey. Because I love you, hoes. Let's go, Jenna.
Cheers. Cheers to Jenna and Diamond. We got a little froth dripping down. Oh, that's a good job.
It's not done. Milk was a bad choice.
Oh, it looks tasty. I should drink tonight.
It's so damn hot.
Look at the frothy mustache.
Where's my news team? I'm sorry, I don't speak Spanish.
Jussie Q saying gross.
Oh, I am the worst human being. I am in a glass case of emotion.
Blonde Dog said, I've lost bets so big I'd lose family, but I'd never risk doing a shoey ever. Hey, you're a champ for that, Lou. You're a champ.
Pat, make sure to clip my misery for your next. That was for Jenna, by the way.
That was a hard fought shoey, man. Are you ready to
Holy
move on?
fuck my butthole. Jesus Christ. What are we on? We're done with Lynn's.
Isn't this a hometown guy?
Are we on Algeo?
Yeah. King of Prussia, Pennsylvania, taking on Alexander Hernandez.
And
First fight of the main card at featherweight.
You break this one. Give me 3 minutes.
I got you. So we got Bill Algeo coming in here, 17-7 record. Obviously a kind of a weird, loose, relaxed kickboxer. He bounces around with that karate stance. A lot of heavy kicking game, but not a lot of power on his strikes. But he does have a pretty quick shot when he goes in to close that distance for the grappling. Alexander Hernandez, a guy who's been around the UFC for quite some time now, still a pretty young guy at like 32 years old. Very powerful in round 1, tends to fade by round 2 and get finished there a lot. But this guy in Alexander Hernandez, he started his career kind of in a weird spot, right? He goes in there making, I think, maybe a short notice debut against Beneil Dariush as a dog and goes in there and knocks him out with a massive left straight in round 1. And after that, he was fed nothing but killers as a result, and it really didn't have like that, that growth period in the UFC. He really didn't titrate his way up to competition. He did have a really nice performance against Aubin Mercier as well after that. But Donald Cerrone, round 2 knockout loss. Drew Dober, round 2 knockout loss. Moises able to control him there in the second and third rounds. And we had Renato Moicano able to, sort of club and sub him. And Billy Q at his first journey down to featherweight last December was able to ride out the early part of his game and take him out in round 2. So there's a clear pattern. If you listen to these losses, a lot of them are round 2 losses. Even his last win at lightweight against Jim Miller, great account of himself, pretty high output striking, kind of proved haters wrong that he does not have a gas tank issue. But again, it's Jim Miller, and that guy himself kind of falls off a cliff after round 1 for the most part, even though Miller almost did take him out at the end of the fight. So I don't have a lot of trust in guys like this with my money, where it's like round 1 knockout or bust. If he tries to extend himself with a well-paced effort, even wrestles, he gasses himself out. So, if he extends his effort past round 1, I think Bill Algeo still, even though not the most dangerous striker, I think he can touch him up and point fight him if not, take him to the ground when he wilts and maybe lock in a submission. So, I'm not sold on Bill Algeo being some sort of like Charles Oliveira-esque submission fighter, but he does have pretty good control on the mat when he gets in position. And it might be one of these spots where Lou's going to advise us to do a live bet here after round one, because a lot of times Bill Algeo has his worst round is round one. He gets better, and the complete opposite is true for Hernandez. Do you have any more faith in your guy from Pennsylvania? I'm not totally sold on Bill Algeo, but I do have a bet on him, mostly fading Hernandez.
So my guy, who I know his trainer, I graduated high school with his crew.
That's right.
Crew corner. So, yeah, Zach's, by the way, Zach and I have been like arguing with people in our group chat all day about like food in the South. It's been like absurd. And it's so funny. But anyway, that's a whole different conversation. So, yeah, I'm gonna make this easy. Like, yeah, I like Algeo live. I already bet Algeo. I like him live. But I'm gonna give you like a real breakdown here. This is one of the fights that like Chick in our community, who I think does great work, by the way. She's not in the chat right now, but if you've ever you know who Chick is.
Yeah, I follow her on Twitter.
Okay. And like, I respect her immensely, and her and I got into a little bit today. Not disrespectfully. She does great write-ups, and she was all about Algeo, and then she flipped her vote. And the reason she flipped her vote to the Hernandez side was, well, Algeo owns a gym, and like Elise Reed, people that own gyms are looking at like other income streams and doing other things. And I'm like, yo, first of all, like, don't compare Algeo and fucking Elise Reed, but I think it's to me, and like, she's good. So this is not like another thing I'm saying is like I respect Chick a lot. Like I've invited her to be on YouTube. Like I'm one of her biggest fans, like in terms of the effort she puts in not just UFC. She's put an effort like to all this, like all leagues. Like she's great. So this is like an outlier. If she watches this, I'm saying this is an outlier. I think personally, if you spend all this time capping a fight and you find a clear A side, and then you back off because of a false narrative, I think this is a terrible way to cap fights. Now, I know him personally, but more importantly, I know his trainer personally. Does he own a gym? Yes. Does he train at that gym for UFC fights? No, he doesn't. He trains 20 minutes from me with his original crew who got him into this, who runs a hybrid Muay Thai Shotokan fucking crazy style. Like, it's a unique style that he runs. I've been in his gym twice. Once to observe, because he's like, you can't handle this. And I'm like, no, I can't. And two, to spar with my buddy who had been training with him for years. And I have a judo background from young, because I can't use Krav Maga, dude. I can't kick him in the sack.
Right.
And this dude that I was friends with, like, just fucking murdered me, dude. Like, I couldn't do shit to him. Like, he was in shape. Like, and I took a beating. And I didn't have a problem with it. Like, I'm here for taking beatings, dude. My pain threshold's insane. I just have no offense, Pat. I could take a beating all day. Like, I don't give a shit. I'm like Darren Elkins, dude. I'm like Homer Simpson. You will get tired and I will win. Like, that's what it comes down to. Now at 45, 46 next month, start shopping. But like the idea that, oh, he owns a gym, he's not motivated. Dude, Algeo's had a chip on his shoulder since he got in the UFC. Like, he's not the most talented guy. Like, is Hernandez the more talented mixed martial artist here, Pat? 100%. Yes. But like, look at the dudes that like you and I and people in the chat have made money on. Billy Q, Algeo, Darren Elkins. Guys that maybe they're not the best martial artists, but they're there in the second round. They're there in the third round. Damon Jackson. Like, guys, they're there, dude. And what happens when they're there and the dude's gas? They pour it on.
Exactly.
Like, look at the Herbert Burns fight, dude. Herb Burns was done. And Algeo was like fucking tool on him. Looking at the ref like, what the fuck, dude?
It was terrible to watch.
So I'm saying bet Algeo now, but also bet Algeo live. Because you're gonna get like I mean, dude, if you're getting plus money, I love. And like, why can't Algeo I don't know who said Algeo sub 2-3 in the chat, but like, I love the sub here, dude. And I want to bring up the Miller fight, and then we'll close this out. So, yeah, he won a decision, like, because like there's one guy that tweets that's annoying the shit, and I'm not gonna bring him up. I muted him and whatever. But he wrote something like, "Oh, does he have decision equity?" Like saying, "I want to bet him," and I'm like, "Great, he wants to bet him. I know it's the right play to go against this guy." Because Hernandez had won a decision against Miller, but why did he win a decision against Miller, Pat? Because Miller and like I think Miller's cardio is little like people think he has 5-minute cardio. Dude, Miller's like fighting in late second rounds. Looked all right in the third round against Hernandez. The difference is that Miller and Hernandez in that first round, neither one pushed the pace. They kind of just stood at distance. And then when Hernandez went for takedowns, there was no resistance from Miller, and the round ended that way. Algeo, so Hernandez was able to win a decision because nobody pushed the pace on him. Algeo's not going to give him that choice. Can Algeo be taken down? Absolutely. His get-up game's good. His takedown defense is shit.
Right.
So, Pat, if Hernandez takes him down 3 times the first round, and Algeo gets up all 3 times, what does Hernandez look like?
Not very good. Whenever he's forced to grapple early,
he's death-gassing, having to keep doing it. And on the feet, is he the better striker? Probably. Is he more powerful? Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
But Algeo doesn't get finished. So I don't see Hernandez's path here. Like, he's not like he is round 1 rebuffed in a lot of fights.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm biased. Sure. Like, I know Bill. Like, I know him. I've met him. I'm not like boys with him. He's like a Trumper. He's a little like fucking, I don't know if he's QAnon, but he's like kind of on that. He is, dude. He's a little on that fringe. Like he doesn't tweet often, and it's always like, they took our gerbs. Like he's that guy.
Yeah.
But dude, he had a broken arm against Feely, and like all he did the whole round was like punch the guy. Like, he's a fucking psycho, dude. Like he will fight for your money. So I love him here.
That's what it comes down to for me.
I just wanted to bring up like that Hernandez winning by decision was more about Miller not having bad cardio, but not pushing a pace. And Algeo pushes a fucking pace, dude.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only way he knows how to fight is push a fucking pace.
I will say I do have, and the lines come down. It's minus 126 on BetOnline for Bill Algeo, plus 106 for Alhassan.
Yeah, that's because fucking Magic is like, Hernandez all day, and like, that's my boy. But like, I mean, Jesus Christ, Algeo is gonna fucking round 2, round 3. Like, here, I'll spoil whatever they say on the Lambo show this week. Round 2, round 3, Algeo. My boys, shout out to Tim and Narco. I'm just gonna spoil that prop.
Yeah, I'll probably end up playing some iteration of those when DraftKings drops. So right now, they're not that great on BetOnline, but I might just play round 2, round 3, and maybe leave the sub off of it just because you never know with Hernandez what's going to take him out when he's death gassed there. He just could get flattened out and TKO'd. But I will say this. I mean, you're not pointing to this as much. You're pretty high on Algeo, as am I, but I think that the first 5 minutes will be a big sweat having money on him. So that's having to dodge those big power left straights of Hernandez. He's super fast, closes the distance, and Algeo keeps his hand so low. It's going to be a sweat early. But if we escape,
you know why this all happened? Hernandez getting the cheap shot on the handshake like years ago. This is just karma on his fucking life, dude.
Yeah, I think so. That was the Dariush fight too. It was the Dariush fight.
Yeah, I mean, dude, that's karma. Like, fucking dick, dude. No, I love it.
What is up, Fight Talk only in the building? What's going on? Saying hi to Mushroom, and it's good to see you, man. Good to have you back. It's a week goes by without your graphics on Twitter, man. And it's just not. It doesn't feel fulfilling not having the whole community tasked with a fighter each to break down and bet. So good to see you, man. Can't wait for this week's contest. And yeah, we're on the same side of that one. Both have cash on the money line of Bill Algeo. I got it at -130 for a unit and a half. I'll be looking to add a couple, maybe quarter unit sprinkles on that 2-3 finish props here, but it will be a sweat in round one. Can't wait for that fight. At featherweights, we got Drew Dober versus Ricky Glenn up next at 155. Another one of these massive money lines in the favor of Drew Dober. -425, the favorite. Rick Glenn is the +325 underdog. And the line makes sense to me in some ways just because of where they're at in their careers, even though they're not that far apart age-wise. In fight years, Ricky Glenn is pretty up there. And he's fought. We talked about damage in your career, how many fight miles you've taken, Lou. This is a guy in Rick Glenn who kind of fought like Drew Dober for a long, long time, in my opinion. He was able to push a pace over guys that weren't able to last with him. He could eat all of their damage, not get knocked out. But it finally came crashing down against Christos Giagos, like a wrestle boxing grappler of all people, were able to knock him out in like a minute's time last time. So a guy in Rick Glenn who's had kind of one foot out the door for a while. He had some long layoffs. I know he's got other endeavors besides MMA. And dealt with a lot of injuries, I think even like a hip injury that's recurring. Just nasty stuff there. And he's a guy who, man, I think striker for striker, we're going to have more output from Drew Dober, which is going to, at some point in this fight, I think Drew Dober ends up extending that record in the UFC for 9 knockouts at lightweight, which will put him in first place. So I did take a bet on Drew Dober by knockout, or I took him inside the distance at -175, which was, at the point I bet that, it was the exact same price for ITD as KO, so it was a no-brainer there. I think it's around -200 or so for ITD now. What do you think about that prop, dude? Do you think he extends this to a decision, or do you think he knocks his head off?
No, I'm just waiting for my book to put up round one props. Like, he's going to kill him. I have nothing more to say. This is a get-right fight for Dober after the follow fight. Like, I don't know why they're even doing this fight, except they just love Dober, and they're like, hey, do you want to kill this guy? Ricky Glenn doesn't have the skills to do this. Like, the best Ricky Glenn's looked was it the Joaquim fucking Jabroni fight where like he got a quick one. And then like the Grant Dawson fight where it's like, that's an outlier. No, he's gonna die. He's gonna die. And that's, dude, literally this is like, you know, like our buddy Luke, like Sparring Reality is like, he's not the kind of guy you want to bet -400. I'm like, yeah, he should be like, no, but you're betting him in the distance. Doesn't fucking matter. And then like Rich, Just Win Baby's like, yeah, I have him capped at -1,000. Like, doesn't matter. Yeah, he's gonna kill this dude. So let's move on. Next. Yeah, Dober round one. Let's go.
Dober round one. I like that. That bodes well. Do you have
plus money, dude? Like,
you playing that specifically round one? Or
yeah, oh yeah, dude. Yeah. I'm waiting for the prop.
I can't wait.
He's gonna fuck up, dude. If he hits him once in the first round, the fight is over. He doesn't need a sequence. He can crack him once. That's it. What the fuck is Ricky Glenn gonna do? And by the way,
the speed difference should be crazy here.
And by the way, you're into distance prop. Dober's cardio is good.
Yeah.
So if you look at him in the distance, he has 15 minutes to hit him once.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought.
That's simple, dude.
That's what I thought here. So, and I saw some people saying they were hesitant just because of, you know, only one knockout loss for Ricky Glenn. But I mean, come on, it's at this point in his career, he hasn't fought that much lately. He's fought 3 times since 2018. And one time he got that flash KO over Silva. The second time he got ragdolled by Dawson and beat up. And then Christos Giagos ended him. So I think this has been I don't think he's just now in the Christos Giagos fight hitting his wall. I think he's been there for a while now. We're kind of seeing it exposed last time. So yeah, I'll take we can move on to the next one. I think we're all on the same side of that. But Rick Glenn, awesome fighter, man. Super fun to watch. Sad to see these people kind of go out this way. And
Rick Glenn is a piece of shit like Nikolai.
I mean, what's a favorite Rick Glenn moment? Did he have? I know he had a lot of good World Series of Fighting moments.
You remember when he did that thing against that guy?
That Georgie Karakin fight? That was a pretty good one.
That's my favorite moment, when he did that thing against that guy.
Gavin. You're talking about the Gavin Tucker fight where he pieced him up. for 3
I'm
rounds.
literally saying when he did that thing against that guy is my favorite moment.
Are you talking about when he lost to Kevin Aguilar by decision?
Sure.
Is that what you're talking about? All right.
Yes. Any of them? Oh, fuck. Look at this asshole. Look at this fucking asshole.
Well, that was a very good moment there.
I've been fucking breaking down fights for real. Now he's here. Now I gotta be like,
what's up, Big Steve? Everybody go follow our guy Big Steve as well on YouTube. Always breaking down regionals as well as the UFC.
If you like assholes that break down fights like myself, you're gonna fucking love Big Steve.
All right, one
He's
last
like
talk about this
he's
fight.
like me. He's like me, except he's actually like good at this. Like I suck. He's like really good at this.
Daz is playing the over 1.5 at plus 160 in this fight.
Yeah, you're on fucking crack, Daz.
Good Lord, you like pain. You like the. I mean, it could very well hit, but oh my God,
Daz, let me ask you a question.
Painful.
How squished are your cheeks gonna be the whole thing?
Good Lord. Bunny Hunter, what's up, man? Good to see you. Hey, what's up, guys? Mendonca, Demopoulos, and Belbita. My goodness, you are going crazy with these. You got a couple underdogs in there, along with Mendonca. And calling them all locks? Jesus, Bunny Hunter. You're killing me.
Oh.
But, good to see you.
Oh, no. Oh, no. No! None of them.
A hit of crack would kill Daz.
Yeah. Well, also, like, have they ever had like the Aussie / New Zealand battle royal? Like, because Steve did a show with our our boy Lucrative, and James is on the couch, like, and I feel like Big Steve. We were all telling him in chat, like, dude, just choke him out right now. Just choke out Lucrative. Just fucking do it. Make him battle. And he's like, oh, we're not in either one of our homes. It's like, I don't care. Just fucking choke him out. Why are you doing YouTube? Pat, do you do YouTube for your amusement or the fans?
My own amusement.
Okay. Well, I like literally my whole thing is to do it for the fans. And if they're like, choke this motherfucker out, I'm choking this motherfucker out live. So that's why Steve makes not greatest content as me. The numbers don't lie.
I'm glad you're fired up because
I'll choke a hoe out live. I don't need Steve's skills. I'll fucking choke a motherfucker out. I'll will them out. Pat, I'll choke you out.
Dude, yo, focus up, Lou. Focus up, Lou. Because I need your full attention for this next one, because this is the one that we spoke on. We're both thinking about jumping ship on this one at 170 with Morono and Buckley. We both had kind of the same opinion when we talked about this early in the week. And man, speaking of Daz Files squished cheeks for the last fight going over 1.5, I've got a squished cheek already for this fight because I took a half unit stab on Morono. But man, the more I look at Joaquin Buckley's movement, dude, the more I look at Morono's movement, I just feel like Buckley could land that one punch or that one kick that could knock him out. So can you kick this one off for me and tell me what you're feeling about Morono here and why you were backing him initially, unless you have switched sides?
I have a bet on him. I bet him at plus 135. I thought the line was wide. Buckley's one of these dudes I think we're always like capping on like fights ago. Like, oh, he's so impressive. He's one punch power and like, but when have we seen it last? Like, look, he's a better athlete than Morono. And on the Morono side, I'll tell you why I'm going to flip-flop. So I think skill for skill, Morono's better. Even in the striking, like, I think Morono's a better like distance striker. The problem I have that makes me want to get off this is that the fight with Means. Dude, I'll choke him the fuck out, dude. I'll choke Pat the fuck out. I don't give a fuck, dude. Pat knows I'll fight him. Pat knows I'm not afraid to fight him.
That's true.
The problem I have here is that it's not that he finished Means. And I had a bet on Means in that fight. That first round, Means was piecing him up on the feet, dude. Like, he landed everything. And Means is not throwing, like, power shots. Every jab. Like, I mean, every jab that Means threw got through. Every jab.
Mm.
He's just at a point where maybe Means isn't, like, knocking fuckers out. but he landed everything on Morono. And Kai Morono win that fight. He like literally just grabbed his neck and choked him. I don't think he can do that to Buckley. I don't know that he has. Look, Morono doesn't grapple. He should, but he doesn't. And I'm not even sure he has like a massive advantage here if it does, right? If he gets on top, I do think he has better jiu-jitsu. I think he can get a choke. But can't you see a world where Buckley just like chucks him the fuck off and says like, get off me? Like,
absolutely.
I don't hold the Ponzinibbio. Like we talk about the Ponzinibbio fight. It's hard to hold that against him because he took it on like 3 days notice and it looked great for 2 rounds. The thing is like, I think Ponzinibbio kind of sucks at this point in his career. I honestly do. Like, I don't think he's very hittable. If you watch Buckley, his movement's really good. Like, I think his power he has great power. Like, you can't deny it. But his striking accuracy is terrible. Like, he throws big shots. He doesn't throw combos. He kind of dances. Like, that's why Curtis, like, fucked him up. But I just do not like the way Morono was getting hit tons of times in that first round, dude. Like, Mean should not be landing every fucking punch against this guy. And I think that, like, and he was hurting Morono. Like, he got him against the cage and hurt him. I think Buckley only needs to land, like, a couple and, like, especially body shots. So I think Buckley's grappling is improved. It seems like he cares and he's working on it. So, like, even if Morono decided to, like, oh, I'm going to grapple him, like, I don't think he'd have a ton of success. And Buckley's cardio is good. So I think Buckley just knocks him out. Like, I took the Morono bet. I'm probably going to just get out of this.
Yeah, I have the half unit at plus 168 at Morono. And I thought it was, like Steve said, it was a binary striking fight. It's like either Morono's going to win all
well,
the
if Steve agrees with me, he's going to hate his fucking life that he agreed with me once in his life.
Yeah, right. More layers to the striking. I agree with that too. But it's just, man, it's just going to take one. And Buckley's not like one of these guys we're going to talk about in the next fight where his window of opportunity for the knockout is within that first 5 minutes. He has knockout power late, which scares me too when I really peel back the layers of this fight. So it's going to be a sweat the entire time. I've got half a unit on it. I might just let that ride. What I really liked more was I was waiting for that decision prop to open up on some books, but I was like, look, I'm going to play the decision heavier. I'll have a little bit on the money line, but man, I feel like I want neither now. So I admit it. I took the stab on Morono. I'll keep that pick. I do think he wins the minutes here, but Buckley is a scary dude, man. And at 170, he made the cut okay, looked fine against Fiallo, got that late round 2 stoppage there. So, oof. I don't know. It's going to be a scary fight, man. But yeah, I think all the minutes Morono will be racking up strikes up until he gets knocked out. But yeah, give me Morono by decision. I do think he's the slight value side here. Is the line the same as when I bet it? Or is it slightly worse? Plus 150, Morono, Buckley, minus 175. All right, well, yeah, I don't know. What's the Buckley KO is somewhere around like plus 100. It's like even money. That's really what I see as his path. Plus 100.
Do you want me to say it like the Iron Sheik would say it?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's the worst like the Nikolai. It is like the Randy Savage hoarding the cocaine. It is the worst.
Dude, I can't believe you missed your opportunity to have that guy on the happy hour with you and Monk. Now he's
Randy Savage?
No, the Iron Sheik. Now he's
like
gone.
I couldn't get the well, dude, if you would have lived a little longer, like I would have fucking
I know.
You don't think it? No. You come to my room. I am the one with the 10-inch cock. That's Iron Sheik, dude. Not me. You guys ever seen him on Stern? Oh, man, dude.
He was the best on Stern.
I break Hulk Hogan. That jabroni Hulk Hogan's back.
Wait, Jesse Q brings up a good point. Who is Morono's coach? Is he? I thought he ran like a satellite gym down there.
I think his coach is Joaquin Buckley, which is why I like the Buckley side so much more.
Affiliation. I don't really know where. I gotta look up where he trains. I think he's opening up some sort of gym down in Texas that he runs, but I'm not sure. So I'll have to look into that, man. I need to pay more attention to where people train out of. Sometimes that is important information, man. But
Just so you know,
Zach Johnson saying Fiala beat the shit out of him for 7 minutes. Yeah,
I
did he?
just got two emails, Pat.
Who's that?
One, I think some hooker wants to date me, and two, Bet Online Poker has credited me with something.
Nice.
So 2 for 2. I mean, her name is Sam 932741. She sounds hot.
Great lady. Great lady.
Can I just give a shout out to the best Twitter account out there, Pat?
Who's that?
Mug Shorties is the best Twitter account that exists. Do you know Mug Shorties? It's just mug shots of girls who've been arrested, and
oh yes, yeah.
And you just look at them like fixable. It's
right.
It's like pet arson, like not fixable. Stole liquor, fixable. Like, dude, they had a good looking bird on there the other day, and it was like let somebody's pets die, and I'm like, fuck her, I'll kill her.
I love that.
Dude. Like
Mug Shorties is hilarious. It'll just be some girl just like with mascara running down her face and be like stabbed 15 people in parking.
It's literally I got my friend Pat on, who's not you, even though you're like the same size. He needs to work out more. But he's like, Mug Shorties. I'm like, give me your fucking phone, dude. And he's like, and now his wife like fucking hates him for this. And he's like, it's Rob's fault. And I'm like, it's literally my fault. She goes, yeah, you're friends with him. Like, that's the problem. I'm like, that's not fun for our. That's not nice.
Great Twitter page. Highly recommend everybody that's watching.
But that's not nice out of her. She's that's not nice.
What is up, Easy in the building? What's going on now? The chat is complete.
Fuck the Easy that he knows, and he knows I'm doing it wrestling wise. He knows I'm,
Oh man, this is come on, Eddie Guerrero all day. You gotta agree with this.
What even is that question?
Yeah, what is this?
No, you know who the most entertaining? You know who's going to be? And Easy in the chat. Pat, you don't know who this is yet, but you will. Easy, you'll say it. Trick Williams, going to be. You'll see, dude. Trick Williams, Pat. You know why, Pat? You know he's got 2 gifts, Pat.
What are those?
He's got the gift of gab, and he's got the gift of jab. Trick Willie. Whoop that trick. Whoop that.
That's a good line. Cousin Vinny, dude, what's up, man? Thanks for stopping by.
People love the guy. Pat, there's just dudes the crowd loves. Trick Williams, dude. See? Easy knows. Whoop that trick. He knows, dude.
New professional wrestler breaking into the scene, or who's that?
Dude, he's like in his 20s. He's in NXT. He looks like a fucking $1 million. They're teaching him, but he's on the mic. He's awesome, dude. He's gonna be the next, like, nobody's gonna be The Rock, but he's gonna be like the next big deal. You're gonna be like, he's a guy, Pat. You don't have to follow pro wrestling. You're gonna be like, I like this guy. You know how you like, Pat? You know, like a few wrestlers at this point. You're gonna be like, I like this. Yeah, but he's gonna be a dude. You're like, I fucking love this guy. I'm telling you, he's gonna be one of those dudes. You trust me? You trust me with that?
I trust you with it.
You're gonna love this fucking dude. You're gonna love Trick Williams, dude.
I just Google him. He does look like $1 million. Look at this guy.
He's funny as shit, dude. And he's funny as shit.
Looks like a young Booker T.
Dude, he does all Booker T's moves.
Okay. All right.
He's literally using the bookend. Like, he's using all the moves. Dude, and Booker T loves him. I'll send you a video where, like, in his entrance, like, his whole song is like, whoop that trick. But Booker T's the commentator for NXT. And there's always this pause in the song. And as he's doing it, it's like, whoop that trick. You hear, like, Booker, yeah, whoop, I like it. Like, Booker T's, like, rapping during the song. Like, oh, yeah. It's so fucking funny, dude. Like Booker T's rapping during his song, and he's like, oh, yeah.
Booker T was the man, dude. Yeah, this guy kind of looks like his.
He's a commentator on NXT where he does it, dude. He's on commentary 2 hours. He's great. Booker T's the best, dude. He's like, oh yeah. He's like, champagne wishes and caviar dreams. Yo yeah.
MMA comp minus the physique,
All right,
Kevin Holland.
Before I go blow my money in poker, what we got next?
We got the co-main event at middleweight. We got Joe Pyfer, be like Joe Pyfer, taking on Abdul Razak Alhassan. This is another one of those kind of straightforward fights, in my opinion, right? We got pretty massive favorite in this prospect, Joe Pyfer, who's coming off of the knockout win over Gerald Meerschaert. He finds himself as a minus 500 favorite. You can still find minus 425 out there, it looks like. We got plus 375 for Abdul Razak Alhassan. A guy who is 38 years old at this point, has basically one path to victory, and that is getting a round 1 or early round 2 knockout if you're Claudio Ribeiro. Otherwise, he's 0-4 in decisions. Anything going past that 1.5 round mark, Abdul is losing. But he's got massive power. He's got some sort of cage wrestling ability as well, judo background, but mostly just a big power striker that tends to fade as the fight goes on. Joe Pyfer, a guy at 27 years old, big for the weight class, 4-inch height advantage here. He's finished, 10 of his 11 wins as a professional so far, riding a 4-fight winning streak. And, man, this guy's got power in his hands, pretty good distance management with his striking, and he's got wrestling and BJJ to back it all up. So that's why he's a massive favorite. I pretty much agree with it. I mean, it's hard to back a guy at minus 500 who hasn't been that proven so far, but he knocked out Amadovsky in round 1 as you should. He knocked out my boy Gerald Meerschaert. Pretty impressive win in round 1. And he does all the grappling competitions on the side as well. So well-rounded game. Looks like the goods. Looks like a parlay piece, if anything, to me. But, yeah, just has to avoid getting bonked in like 2 minutes of round 1, and he should be good. Anything else on this one, Lou? Are you a big Abdul Razak Alhassan backer this week?
I mean, I like him a lot more than most, but like under 1.5 minus 200. And
okay.
Yeah, just parlay that because I'm waiting for like my book to put the Alhassan round 1 KO up. I think you have to play like something on it. Like it's going to be +8. It's going to be 8-1 at worst.
Now he's only been finished by one man, and that was Chaos Williams in round 1. Do you see something like that happening again, or do you think he is somewhat durable?
No, because I think that if Pyfer's not a total idiot, he could just chuck him on the ground and style on him.
Mm-hmm.
Like big. Like could ground and pound him, could sub him. Like Pyfer round 1 is like very legit here. If Pyfer wants to fuck around and find out and just stay on the feet,
yeah, right.
Then it just takes one, man. Like Alhassan's like, look, man. It's weird that like, let me just say this. It's weird that Pyfer has elicited these lines. It's very strange that a guy that had a good Contender Series prop, like, but dude, that fight wasn't like so easy. Like Ozzy Diaz was like game and like had a good first round. Like, it's weird to like, and dude, Amadovsky's terrible, and the GM3 fight was kind of like, it's like they knew like it was a setup fight. If Pat, let me ask you this. If Pyfer says, I don't want to grapple here, what's his true money line? He's not this money line.
No. But still, he'd be a sizable favorite. I'd still trust him.
On the feet? If this was just an on the feet, but not.
I wouldn't put him minus 500, but I'd trust him here to be a favorite.
He's minus 150.
But he can last. He can last into round 2, round 3, and have a.
But why can't Alhassan? He's not being grappled.
He's never proven it before. You know what I mean?
We're talking about a fight where there's no grappling.
Yeah. I mean, that's scary, but still. I mean, when you got like, if it's a few fights,
you're crazy. You're crazy if you think if
guy's
there was
been in
no
the
grappling allowed, that Pyfer's more than 2-1 here against a dude whose power is he is more powerful than Pyfer.
I think Pyfer's technique is better. I think he's faster as well. I think there's
of course his technique.
Difference.
Yes, his technique is better, but his power. But his power is not.
He's also just better at strike. He's just better at cutting angles and catching people as they're moving in. He could be moving backwards and still strike. He's got that nasty left hook that comes out of nowhere, moving.
I mean, this line is crazy. I'm
crazy
more comfortable playing the under 1.5 than anything else here, dude.
I like it.
I don't think Pyfer is not worthy of being minus 500 here. If you parlay him, you know, I'm not going to say we know a dude that would parlay him. Nice guy, nice hat. Nice guy, nice hat. But like,
oh, this is just rude. This is rude. Come on, Shady. Saying Pyfer's like Glass Joe for Mike Tyson. Now he does carry his chin a little bit high. I will say that.
I would actually grade him as Von Kaiser, not Glass Joe. But he shouldn't be minus 500 here, Pat.
No, but it's just you got to look at the metrics here, and it's like
Pat, you know what minus 500 here is that they know he's going to grapple.
Yeah.
Okay, but a minus 500 to me is a dude that has a striking advantage and a grappling advantage. He can get bonked. He has a humongous grappling advantage. If he just takes him down in 10 seconds, the fight's over. Dude. It's over. He's gonna fuck him up on the ground.
Yeah,
but will he?
I think he'll do. If Munir Lazez is taking you down, I think Pyfer's just got a very good skill set.
But I don't think he has a massive striking advantage here. He has a technique advantage, but he doesn't have a power advantage. I don't know, dude.
No.
Under 1.5. I think Pyfer fucks him up.
Yeah, I like the fact that you're covering. I like that you're covering the entire win equity of Abdul.
You have to, dude, because so many people in this community just blind bet this crap.
Yeah,
and it's like, okay, like, can you think of like people that are if you're betting Pyfer in the distance, at least they're a little bit on Alhassan round 1 KO, because that's literally his whole win equity. Like,
yep. No, I like it. You're onto something there. I do think that's how it ends. And you're covering,
mushroom nose.
You're covering things going bad, which in this game, no matter how much we think we know, how much the stats tell us, things do go bad in a hurry. So you can cover both sides, man. Do it. I like that. Minus 200 for the under 1.5. I like it. I think it hits. I think it really does hit. Last time it was Malkoon, now Pyfer for a parlay buster. My God, yeah, we didn't even talk about that, Lou, since the week off. What about Cody Brundage cashing that that small bet? I had like $10 on it just as like a flyer.
I'm gonna decline.
Round 1 KO/DQ, and it was the DQ that hit.
I'm gonna decline. He won't talk to me ever again. I'm gonna decline comment on this. I will just say that, and I hit a bet. I sent it to you, right? Did I not? I had a $20 bet on that.
I think so, yeah.
I will just say that I can't speak for anybody but myself, but I know that if I had my last chance at a job that I really worked hard for, and you knew that the only way to get the job back was like one thing, like winning by finish.
Yeah.
And then you weren't that hurt, and you're like, I'm taking the win. I think that was I'm just didn't like it. And but more importantly, Pat, the new era of the MMA engine moves on, and we have a fighter fighting on Tuesday.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, what's his name again? Something Von Travius Cornavarius. What's his name?
You're very racist. That's a very racist. That's incredibly racist, Pat.
That wasn't racist.
Incredibly racist.
Say his name. What's his name? Say his name.
I will say it at the end of the show when I.
No, say it right now. What's his name?
Cortavius, are you not entertained, Romeus?
Yeah, so it rhymes.
It's not that hard to say, Pat.
I wasn't that off.
Pat, you did it. You were way off. You said Von Travius. You're way off.
That off. That was basically his name.
Pat, here's the best part. I don't care what a tank of a human being you are. I now have a pro fighter, and he's in St. Louis. He's not far from you. I'll fucking send him up your way and kick you. I'll have him teach you. As the Iron Sheik would say, old country viz. I'll have him teach you, because this is my dude. And when he wins by submit. By the way, Cortavius submission.
What weight class is he?
Pat, you're asking, you're just looking to like see if you can not get an ass whooping.
No. What's his weight class?
His weight class is bruiserweight.
So what is it? 130? Was he 135, 145? Or if I need an extra dumbbell, you can send your boy up here to the Midwest, and I'll get a workout in.
By the way, I like Juicy Q, but also Can you put Juicy Q's comment up so I can say, Juicy Q, you're the fucking worst. You are the goddamn worst. I love Juicy Q, by the way. You're the worst. He's going to win. He's going to win by submission. He's going to make the MMA engine all the money, and all of you can eat shit.
Dude, that kick.
Cody failed me. Cortavius will not fail me. Also, go watch our interview with him, dude.
I hope he wins.
Go watch our interview.
I hope he wins by DQ. That would be great. His very first fight.
I hope he wins by repeated ball shot DQ, and then it's like, well, I got to give you a contract. He's like, there's no week 11. I got to give you a fucking contract.
Got to, man.
And then he's gonna submit Khamzat. He's gonna come up and weight 70 pounds, and he's gonna submit Khamzat and be like, "Are you now entertained?" I'd be like, "I knew it."
That'll be fun. That's Tuesday. This Tuesday. Is this the last week of the Contender Series?
Hold on. Tuesday. Yeah, 6 fights because they moved the Davi Bittencourt fight with the big fro. Jesse, fuck you, dude. They moved the fight that the dude.
We gotta move on, Lou. This is 11.
No.
The fight number 11. Let's do Grant Dawson and Bobby Green. Lightweight main event at the UFC Apex. We got the 20 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw. Grant Dawson taking on Bobby Green. 30 wins, 14 losses, 1 draw, 1 no contest, and that no contest was earlier this year against good old Jared Gordon. That clash of heads unfortunately robbed Mr. Green of his bonus that night, the round 1 knockout, but he got it back with a round 3 arm triangle over Tony Ferguson, a fight that really should have probably not taken that long. Ferguson even knocked him down in that fight, but obviously the game plan here for Grant Dawson, get the fight to the mat. Bobby Green, keep it standing, use that loose and relaxed boxing style that's gotten him many of his UFC decision wins. But we got another massive money line here, and I want you to help me decide if this is justified or not. Grant Dawson, minus 425, the favorite, plus 325. The underdog is Bobby Green, a guy with a lot more experience, but he is 37. The best days have probably got to be behind him at this point, but not many people are taking Bobby Green down. Not many people are out wrestling him, but at the same time, I mean, he's not facing a whole lot of wrestlers in his career so far, and the ones that he did face really did upset his striking tempo, and even guys like Clay Guida, Thiago Moises, fights they weren't really destroying Bobby Green, but they took rounds off of him, and I don't know. I think Grant Dawson just has a great style. He looks like he's young and improving, and I even think he could have his moments in the striking, since Bobby Green tends to always make fights somewhat more competitive than they have to be. Kind of like our guy Bill Algeo with the hands down style, baits people in. Bobby Green sort of does that as well, relying on that speed and head movement, which I think sort of fades as you get towards 40 years old at lightweight. So I don't have a whole lot of trust in Bobby Green. I think this price tag is, I don't know if it's exactly accurate, but I think Grant Dawson should be a massive favorite here. I think he gets tons of control time and wins this fight inside the distance. Do you have faith in Bobby Green here with that juicy plus 325 number?
I don't, but there's another number that's plus odds that is very appealing to me, and that's the over 4.5 is plus 170. And like
the over 4.5 in this fight,
plus 170. And if that's too nervy for you, look at the fight starts round 3, round 4. Bobby Green, like skill for skill, Pat. Dawson's better, right?
Yeah.
Bobby Green's never had a 5-round fight. Is Bobby Green just one of these dudes that you can't cap because it's like, dude, he's just a fucking badass? And like, look, I don't want to like Dawson was safe against Ismagulov. Like, I get it. Like, it didn't really like attack submissions. Dude, I trust Bobby Green's cardio, and I trust it a lot more than I trust Dawson's. I know he had the one fight against Green, but like, what happens if if this fight plays out where Dawson just takes him down the first 2 rounds, like backpacks him, does no damage, he's up 2-0? Is Dawson like going for finishes? Is Bobby Green a finisher? Like, what's Bobby Green's path to win, Pat? Dawson getting tired?
Yeah, basically, he'd have to stuff takedowns for the majority of the fights, or
I'm gonna give you another path. I'm gonna give you another path to Bobby Green. Dawson fights like a fucking idiot and says, "Oh, I have new striking," because he's been testing out his striking, except for the Ismagula fight, and he just wants to fucking box with Bobby Green. And he's gonna, and like, I don't think Bobby Green knocks him out, but he's not gonna go well. I think Dawson could probably just ground him and not go for a finish on Bobby Green. Like, who are Dawson's finishes against?
Mark Madsen, Jared Gordon.
Madsen was
super
gassed
old Leo Santos.
But Madsen was gassed in 7 minutes. Leo Santos is gassed now.
Yep,
Leo Santos gassed watching the show.
You're right.
Bobby Green's tank is like, if you want to talk about one thing about Bobby Green, his durability is getting worse on getting knocked out. But his cardio has been all right. Like, always. Bobby Green's cardio has always been like, dude, like, what was it? God, who's the dude he fought? The third round, he won that fight. I'm not looking at my notes, but
he got a third round finish, you're saying?
No. Fizayev.
Oh, yeah. You're right. Yeah.
But he won.
That was a very close one.
Okay,
yeah.
but he won that. But he won that round. Like,
yes,
dude, he wins third rounds against like good dudes because cardio is good. I don't trust Dawson's striking. Like, dude, I like the overs more than I like anything else here. Is Dawson like flash subbing him? I don't think so, dude. And by the way, last thing, Bobby Green's good off his back. Like, not like good at getting up, but he's good at like fighting subs, dude. Tough dude, man. Right. What does this fight look like sloppy fourth and fifth? It's like,
yeah, anybody's guess there, right? I mean, probably Bobby Green. You could lean on that cardio, maybe.
Well, let me ask you a question. Here, let me ask you this, Pat. Last thing before I pass it to you, since it's your show. Who do you trust more in the fourth, fifth rounds of this fight?
Yeah, it's I just don't see. I don't see it getting that far, to be honest.
I trust Bobby Green like a million. There's not even a doubt in my head. You know what I trust? I trust a dude who's been doing this longer, who's like, fuck this fucking dude. And Dawson like getting sloppier entries and like our buddy Proppy bet the live, bet like the late KO props. Dude, this fight gets late. I trust Bobby Green so much more. I feel like he'll just come short of winning a decision. But I think he might have some moments, dude. Like, I love the live bet, dude. I love dude, you can't bet him. You can't bet him minus 400. But Pat, why is this under minus 215, dude?
I just think there's going to be a lot of opportunities for Grant Dawson to get the job done. Because and you talk about who looks better round 4, round 5. Like, if it's striking for 4 or 5 rounds, then yeah, probably Bobby Green. But what if he's forced to constantly try to get back to his feet and get dragged back down? What if he's constantly in the deep cinch of a leg triangle, the entire time, a body triangle, and then he's striking around 4? I think he's going to look diminished as the fight goes on. Unless it's purely a striking battle for 5 rounds, then he'll look good. But I think if he's forced to grapple, he's going to really wear out and probably get finished here. That's the way I read it. I mean, plus 170, and you are poking holes in the finishes of Grant Dawson for sure. It's a lot of guys who gas out late. He's got a lot of those late round 2, round 3 finishes. He's been a moneymaker with those, but I think he's getting better, and he's the guy who could be young and improving here. I think his striking is getting better.
He's improving. I don't deny that.
Yeah, that's my thing here. So I'm looking for a leveled up version of him. I think it's a good stylistic matchup. I do have just one unit on this fight, and it's for him to win inside the distance at minus 135. I just think all the ground control time over a 5-round fight, he could get it done here by round 2, round 3. But yeah, you're kind of poking holes in this. He's not finishing the best of competition. I'm just kind of looking towards the future. I think he's got a lot of momentum here, unbeaten in the UFC so far, and the cardio issues I used to hold against him just don't seem to be.
Bobby Green's unbeaten in the UFC too. According to the Sugar Show Athletic Commission, he's undefeated.
Man, I mean, he's a fun fighter. I like Bobby Green. I like him carrying around his post-fight win bonus in cash at the desk. Very classy move. He rocks the jewelry. Always carves really nice designs into his beard. like the guy, but
he's a man of the people.
yeah, he is. He is. Rogue Strummer breaking some news to us, man. Breaking some bad news to us.
But the Sugar Show Athletic Commission told me he's undefeated.
Man, the wrestler. Let's wrestle. Everybody's talking about wrestling here, man. The writing's on the wall. But man, you're pulling a Daz Files here, Lou, and liking that over 4.5. Did you bet that one officially at plus 170?
No, I haven't bet in shit. But like,
yeah,
I just
see an argument for
it. To me, it's like, I think minus 215 is like, and like, I'm not trying to talk you off the ledge here, Pat, but
no, go ahead.
We've seen dudes who are like better martial artists, better mixed martial artists, the Luques, the RDAs, the Stricklands, like, and these numbers are never this fucking low, and it's like, I don't know, dude. It's just like to me, there's a very simple path where Dawson's like having grappling success for 2 rounds when he's like, I'm just gonna fucking take him down and like wear on him, like, and just rinse and repeat, and like, and there's no urgency to finish, dude. Like, he already got his main event, dude. There's no urgency to finish. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I think minus 215 for the way Bobby Green fights and the way Dawson's fights have gone. To me, it's like it's a bonkers number. It should be like minus 130, dude. This is a crazy number.
Yeah, I could see that because of the lack of Bobby Green potential for sure. It's kind of one-sided on the under, in my opinion here. I see your point. I like it. That's a good plus number on a sneaky over in this spot. That could be the thing we see. We could see Green lose the decision and be like, "Wow, Bobby Green, he's a G. He lost the decision. He did not. He warded off every rear naked choke attempt. Even scrambled on top in a few spots at the end of the round and gave a good account of himself. So we could see something like that. But ultimately, we're on the same side of the pick, man. We agreed on a lot on this card. 11 fights down. We got some betting action in here. We got some live betting things to think about and some method of victory spots here. I will probably be targeting that round 2, round 3 Algeo, but I'll have that best bets and props video out in the next day or two. The floor is yours, Lou. It's been a pleasure as always. Shout out the MMA Engine and whatever other content you got in all sports the rest of the week. You do your Saturday show now, right?
No, I don't give a fuck. No, I gotta live. I don't care. I'm just doing my thing. Just follow me on Twitter. You'll know. That's it. Thank you, Pat. Thank you, Pat. As always, a pleasure. Like, thank you, Pat. Thank you to the chat. Chat was like fucking great tonight, dude.
Dude, they kill it as always.
Except for Big Steve. He's the worst.
And our guy Justin Viegas, appreciate you, man. Thanks, Rogue. Thanks, Blom Dog. Easy Picks and Bets. Mushroom MMA. Check out his channel. I'll be on his show in a few weeks' time. I don't even know what fight card it is, but we have it on a date. First week of November. I can't wait for that one. His show is tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Central, I believe. So go check that out. Everybody in the chat, I love you guys. I'll be back very, very soon. Glad we're back with more UFC action. Good luck in all of your gambling this weekend. Cheers.